Hey everybody, this is Michael once again. Alright, so this video I have a quote from Epictetus. He's an old school Greek philosopher, and I apologize if I got the name wrong. Alright, he once said, "Do not try to seem wise to others. If you want to live a wise life, live it on your own terms and in your own eyes." And that's, and that actually goes really hand in hand with another quote he has. So I'll give you two for this video, which is, "Don't explain your philosophy, embody it." He's kind of saying the same things in some ways, but so instead of worrying about your superficial appearance to others, um, don't. I know that that's a bit of a hard thing to do, because we are social creatures. We naturally want, the love and respect of our peers, of our friends, of our family members, of our coworkers, and our neighbors, community, but when you become overly concerned with that, you can fall into the easy trap, much like I have and sometimes still do, of worrying about them. And so maybe you'll crack a joke that's not necessarily, I won't say funny, maybe it's funny, but maybe it's not something you entirely agree with. And when people hear that joke, they're going to think of something, that's different, that's not necessarily you, and so, don't worry about seeming wise. Don't, if you really want to live a good, wise, purposeful life, you kind of have to disregard the thoughts and feelings of others in some extent. And that, again, goes hand in hand with, don't explain your philosophy, just embody it, and because actions will speak louder than words. And so that is, you know, kind of the key to happiness sometimes. I felt, I'll give you, I guess, a personal anecdote. I had a group of friends, and they were my friends. At least I thought they were. Pretty close. And I will admit, I will preface this: I was a younger man who was full of piss and vinegar, as they say. And I may not have been the best friend. I did try to be the best friend, but then when it came down to it, these guys, like I had one guy who I thought was pretty close with, and after a while, I realized that he wasn't much of a friend, because any story I told, he had to tell a story to one up me. Anytime I was like, "Oh, hey man, I just got this cool job," he would then put down the job or put me down for getting that job. But then he goes, "Oh, but I'm doing this and this," and I was like, "Okay, man, well I'm happy for you, but can you be happy for me? Is that something I can ask?" And and then when I try, and then I've another friend who claims to be so wise and so intelligent, but then when you get into a discussion with him, often it turns into a debate, and then which often leads to an argument. He would just, say, I don't care. I just don't care. All right, then why did we engage in this discussion? Why were you making your points in the first place? And sometimes it's just easier to sometimes it's better to let those friends go. And one test you can do is just don't reach out to them. And unfortunately, during a point of my life, I fell into a pretty deep, dark place, and I kind of committed social suicide, I guess. I stopped reaching out to people, stopped hitting people up, and the people who I thought were my friends, the people who I wanted to hear from, pardon me, they they moved on. Like it was, my absence was nothing to them. If anything, it was, they found it more beneficial, and just, that hurt, and in some ways, I still hold some pain from that, some anger, um, but that is that's life. Sometimes, life is not always great, but so, and it can be pretty tough, and that's why it's more important for you to embody the philosophy that you preach, and And it's best for you not to preach, your philosophy. Just, embody it. So if you are a patient person, then be patient. You don't have to say, if you say, oh, I'm a very patient person, the more you proclaim a skill or a feat, the less, the less it seems that it's true. It's just, actions speak louder than words as always, and, so don't bother trying to impress people. Just, if you really want to impress them, just do what, you were going to say you're going to do, or, and don't even say it. A lot of people are coming out with of don't talk about what you're going to do, just do it, and let the results speak for themselves. And that's very much kind of what he's saying here. And so, but yeah, so Epictetus once said, do not try to seem wise to others. If you want to live a wise life, live it on your own terms and in your own eyes. Because by the end of the day, your friends, when you go to bed, your friends aren't going to be there. Your family's not going to be there. And, ultimately you have to be okay with who you are and what you did that day. So, and it's hard to do that when you're always constantly trying to impress people, trying to live up to their expectations. Again, I had another friend who I just kind of had this realization, because he was, he's one of my oldest friends, but I realized that he's not. I guess I may have misjudged our friendship, or at least the depth of it, because he came over, the other night for poker, and he was kind of taking a condescending tone. Of goes, oh well, Mike, I'm adulting now, and I'm a manager of this restaurant, and I'm like, okay, well, why are you cleaning it then? Like, why are you doing all the jobs? Because a manager is supposed to lead by example, and supposed to get the people who are, their job title is to clean it, because while you're cleaning it, something else may be going wrong, and you as a manager need to make sure to delegate those tasks to the responsible people, so that way you can make sure the entire store gets done on a timely manner. And he just kind of, his tone wasn't very friendly, I guess, and he was talking about how he hangs out with the other group of friends that I used to hang out with, who one of them is that guy who always compared to everything, always had to one up me, and I would occasionally ask about them, but okay, how are they doing? And but they don't ever ask about my well-being or anything like that, which just kind of is another sign that they don't really care, And ultimately, if I did anything to upset them, if I any kind of egregious act, I apologize for that. But they can't. Everything is someone else's fault in their eyes. And my buddy was, I don't know, I guess I just have less respect for him, especially after that night, because he's talking about how he's responsible. I'm like, man, you are in your mid-30s. You've never owned, he owns a car that was given to him by a family member, but all he had to do was replace the battery. He's never done that. He's never had a license. He still lives with his mother and has never, had any plans or tried to move out. He's only had one semi-serious relationship, and so he's preaching to me about being an adult. And I'm like, man, okay, well, that's cool. First time I moved out was, I was 16. And you're in your mid-30s, still living with your mother, still don't have a working car now, because he's just let it sit and degrade, and just so when you have that, just be aware of it, because if you're always trying to impress people, like I was trying to impress my friends, only realize that they're not really my friends, and they're also people I really should respect, because they just seem to be completely unaware of their own situation, but they will cast such heavy judgment on someone else. But yeah, I apologize. I ranted on a little bit because this was kind of personal, and I just had to kind of get off my chest. And I happen to have a few hours, so I'll probably upload 1 or 2 more videos today. But so again, third time. Do not try to seem wise to others. If you live a wise life, live it on your own terms and in your own eyes. And I also gave a second quote earlier, and he said, "Don't explain your philosophy, embody it." So, best of luck to everybody. Hope that today is great for you guys, and yeah, hope to see you soon. Take it easy.